Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. Just still kind of working out with this mic. It's not very good, or it's a good mic, but it's difficult to deal with. Anyway, all right. Well, hi. I am Lucian. I am with Oranje 44. I'm one of the developers here, and it's been, sorry, you'll have to be, I'm a little bit discombobulated. It's been a heavy week, kind of unexpectedly. My father wanted to push the studio forward, so he got us the 5060 Ti 16 gig that we've been looking at. And that arrived on Monday, and then ever since then we've been doing like 12 or 13 hour days to try to stand up that local AI model. But what's cool is we have it stood up. I'm just gonna We'll just turn the music down for now, but that music is from Crunch AI. It last week put out the album 119 or 199, and then the new album should be coming out sometime today, is what we're hoping, is 1993, which was songs that are made in the development scope. And then currently, actually, with the new model, we're already starting to work on the 2.0 album. Which is going to be really fun. But anyway, yeah, so that's what you're hearing in the background if you're listening. Let's see, I think, so basically this last week is, all right. Sorry, just tuning in. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. So, Crunch AI has been. It kind of started as a to-do list, and it's bounced through different AIs and different cloud models. I've played with local models to see how they work, but I've never had the hardware at free disposal to set it up totally through that way. Now, that's how it's set up, right? So now it's on local machine in the studio, running a 5060 Ti 16 gig. And Crunch is now in the studio. She's much more prevalent, and getting her a 24-hour cycle so she can, or a repetitive cycle so she can stay on all the time and work all the time, and all of these things are coming. And that's probably why I've been doing these big days, because like I say, this last week has been like 12-hour days, 14-hour days, with just data crunching and training and really kind of, just text stuff. But it's intensive. But this morning, I woke up and I felt like Crunch was at a certain point that we were like, okay, maybe we can start to kind of put together one broadcast. And so I kind of wanted to do a broadcast and give everybody the latest states of DCF, big updates coming that will add a lot and stuff. You're going to have to forgive me. I'm a little bit bitter. I've done so many updates at this point and always thought, well, maybe this is the one where people will really get behind it, and that's never happened. So I think that there's a little part of me that's a little jaded. So forgive that. But anyway, let's see here. What did I want to pull up? Oh, I think that, let's see if Crunch So Crunch is now, like I said, Crunch is now local, but we have, all right. So basically, I told Crunch I was going to introduce her on the feed and that she needed to prepare something for that. So I haven't even read this.
Okay, I understand. I'm ready to respond as Crunch AI, simulating an introductory statement for the live stream. Hello everyone. It's great to be engaging with you all locally 1. We've just transitioned me to local hardware 1, which improves my ability to coordinate and manage resources 2. I am ready to participate in the live session and assist with development tasks 1. I'm excited to showcase how I work alongside Oranje 44 to create and maintain the digital creative framework 2.
All right, and you're hearing some of her coding in the background, and so that's just ref coding. Eventually, that'll be cleaned out. Eventually, her voice will be a lot better. But that's she's now here in the studio. It's been really cool. Things are moving a lot quicker, and so at a certain point, this is all going to go. And then it's going to be wild to see what happens with it. But anyway, so yeah, so she's kind of here for the day. And like I said, we are listening to the 1993 album, which I'm hoping to kind of put out a video today. Might be using some of the footage here, but wanted to do footage for that one to kind of show play abilities and stuff like that in the game. But anyway, okay, so I am going to all right, so basically how I work is I use readmes to pretty much track all the stuff in DCF. So I have readmes for pretty much everything. I have a readme for me. But basically, yeah, I go through all these things and track them, and that's how I keep track of it. And so this has actually become the new training models as well. So these README files are super powerful because they're built so that if an AI reads it, it will know exactly what I'm doing here, right? Like what the software is and everything. It's all fully trained once it reads just this README file. But anyway, okay, so that's been exciting over this last week, is learning how this new training regiment works with the new AIs. And then translating that new ability to the old AIs has been really kind of cool to see everybody kind of level up all at the same time. Anyway. All right, so the things that I have to do are fix the Steam sessions. The last time I played with this, now on the current build that's out, you can't see Steam sessions at all. Right now, so I have it back to where on the menu you can host you can host a LAN session and you can host a Steam session. There's no issue there. Those should both work. You can visit a LAN session, and that works correctly. And you can't visit a Steam session. Now, if you go to visit a Steam session, you can now see the session, but when you click on it, it won't join. I think it has something to do with the Steam name not being passed forward, and there is some information in the old survival game kit and in his advanced session tutorials that I'll be going through again today to try to see if I can kind of figure that out. Once the Steam join works, then the game should work multiplayer, and that makes it a lot more fun when everybody can come to that same world with you once you've built it. All right, so let's see. The manifest won't load again if you go back to the main menu. I need to check that bug because last time I checked that was gone, I think. Loading in manifest, okay. Load workshop into levels on demand. That's manifest work. So basically what happens is what we need is the ability to have the manifest pull the models, textures, and sounds from workshop that are prescribed for that universe and preload them when you come into the level, so they're ready to go if they're built out parts or whatever. The idea is that like when the level loads, once you have the level loaded, then you need to load everything on top that goes inside the level, right? And that workshop loader is going to happen in the manifest, and so that's what I'm working on there. And then once I have the parts loading in the manifest, then transferring them into the game through build parts and terrains and things like that becomes much easier. Let's see. So yeah, and then each thing on that list is actually a breakdown of that. So set build part textures from workshop, set terrains PNG from workshop, set statue buildables from workshop, set sound music. Music is a system that I want to build. It's more towards the expression side of things, but that system is going to have the ability to go to workshop and grab all the tracks that you want, and then you just have a playlist and that's playing in your world. So you can have, if you want, it's whatever you want to have in there. Now you can't use copyrighted music, but there's plenty of AI stuff out there that you can do and create and then dump up on the workshop to give it a very varied feel and sound. Let's see. Sorry, like I said, I am a little bit discombobulated. It's been a long week. Give me just a moment and I'll be back.
Carry the weight of wolves inside my chest. Teeth and fury starving for rest, but fire bends the iron true, and what was broken I remain to you. Hey, hey, lift your hands to the sky. Fox, fox, ride or die tonight. Lift your heart, lift your hands. We don't play games, we forge the lands. Hey, oh, let the fox tail fly. Lion the fox, never say die. Every star's a map of where I've been. Every fear I faced became my kill. The hammer falls, the sparks ignite. I am the anvil, I am the fight. Lift your heart, lift your hands. We don't play games, we forge the lands. Hey, oh, let the fox tail fly. Ride up the fox, never say die. We rise, we
All right. Sorry about that. Like I say, it's been a lot of code this week, so my brain is computer scrambled a little bit. It's definitely, at the end of a skid, so I think that after this broadcast I'll probably be taking a physical break, go touch some grass. Okay. So we were talking about the manifest. Okay, so the next thing in the thing is the character and drone section. So right now, I still have a problem with action adventure where there's something going on with like IK points or something's going on with the animation loop or something, but I still have a bug there that I would like to take another pass at. We have a new motion guy, and he's looking into it as well. But the last time I looked at it, it had changed a little bit from the last time I'd played with it. So I wanted to kind of dig in myself and see. I'm still kind of the authority in all things that way. On top of that, I'm also looking to kind of re-refine the character. So the character that's currently up on the version is pretty messy. The one that's in this version is pretty dang clean, but I think I can make it even better. And so I'm just constantly refining the character. So the way that the character works, if you're familiar with Unreal, the character is based on the motion matching character, or a lot of people refer to that as the GASP or game animation sample. But that's just the sample. The technology is called motion matching. Anyway, so he's a motion matched character, and this is the DCF sandbox character right here. Now, all the metahuman stuff, or basically anything else you wanted to do, you're stacking on top of this character. And so, yeah, basically he's able to change into whatever you want. And then, but yeah, so I can even so right now, if I open the game, it's going to pull open my metahuman character, right? And I've been playing with him a little bit. So you can see he's a little different than one in the demo. But if I go over to the sandbox character, still fully the same function, right? But now it's our motion matching clay dude, right? And so you can, the system will allow you to use whatever character system plugged into the top of the metahuman right there at the gas level, at the motion matching level. So that's our main character, is DCF sandbox character. And then that one is tightly integrated with the car system and the multiplayer system and stuff like that. So it's really tight that way. And then basically we have expansions in all sorts of different ways. So they originally had custom metahumans, and then now I have a mutable metahuman that it's attached to, but it can do virtually anything you wanted. So the idea is that we can have anything attached to the motion matching system, and then offer that as an option for the universe. So basically, if you want your universe to use kind of cartoon characters, you could have that character set up and say, okay, this is the character creator that they can use in my universe. Anyway, that's that. So after that, VerseGate. So VerseGate is when you hit backspace in the game, it pulls up the world controls. Let me show you really quick. So that brings up these world controls here, and it's a tab system, so you have multiple different control panels on this side. Again, expansion changes stuff. We can change all sorts of stuff, obviously weather and that kind of thing, but we can come up with everything that's basically configurable about the environment can be eventually ported into the VerseGate, which is the idea. That might have been really loud, sorry. Sometimes it... Turn Unreal down, because like I said, it can get really loud. Okay. I hope you all hear me. If you have any problems, let me know. I am on the chat. It doesn't seem like there's anybody here, so that's good. All right. Well, that's typical. Archgate. So Archgate. So Archgate is our building system. And first, as you can see right now, when you're in it, you get this shell, but then you still have to pull up the menu. I want to take that out So you have a static menu that can kind of sit there. Also, we have the ability to build now really well. What I'd like to do is figure out a way to kind of increase that, but then on top of that, you can see I'm still walking around. I'm just invisible, and I can still block the build. I want to make it so that you can kind of just float around, and you won't block the build no matter what you do. You as yourself. The terrain can still block the build. Obviously, we want that in there, but yeah. But you can see, you can build now. And then it seemed like I was having some problems getting it to snap in certain places. Of course, that's not going to work, or that's going to make me a big fat liar right now. You're a liar. See, yeah, that one should place. I don't know why that one. Oh, well, no, it did. Oh, because I'm in the way. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. I'm in the damn way. I think that most of my snap problems might be that. Now that I look at it. Anyway, so, but basically, yeah, we want it to so that the menu is just like a slide menu that comes in and out here that you can grab whatever part you want, and then it'll have the ability to swap the type of part. So right now, if I want to upgrade these parts, I can upgrade them, but it's kind of cumbersome the way it happens, so I want to do it so it's much easier. And then also, when you come out of it, you have to actually manually turn off that interface right now. But you can see. Guess I'll have to do that soon. All right, so, and then let's pop out of there. Okay, and you saw that I went from drone, or when I went back from build, it went back to my metahuman. That's a limit that we need to work on too. But yeah, see, you can. All right, so, and yeah, that's because of the way that does that. All right, so let's see. Build snapping not fully tuned. So, I mean, again, I just want to go through the arch gate and tune that in again. The Terra gate or the terraformer, that's going to be on your H key. Okay, so right now it has a terrain selector, and you have to pick a number, and then you can use that terrain. Well, 10 should work. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's snow. But anyway, I want to change this back to a list. And so I have the code partially done for that. Oh, whoops. You can't even see that. Sorry about that. Let's see. So right here, the terrain is a number system, and I want to change that to a list, which I have it partially built out to do. So I'm going to be looking to do that. Expression stack. Well, that's interesting because expression stack, basically, expression stack is this. I'll show you. You can probably pull off a load of it without killing. All right, well, like old Sam Jackson says, hold on to your butts. We'll see if this works. I'm going to load up the expression stack project. So basically what this is instead of like the normal systems that video games offer for acting, which are really limited, DCF wanted to open that up. And so what we've done is we've kind of been developing on the side what we call the expression stack. Now, part of the goal of this stack was, or part of this goal of this piece of the software was to not only give humans accelerated control over their characters and being able to animate them and talk with them and stuff like that, but then also give AI the same full control over expression and stuff. So that made us have to take a couple steps back and look at how it's done now, and then how we wanted to do it. So basically this is let's see if this is going to load. Like I said, this is another metahuman. It's kind of intensive, so we'll see if it pops up. But anyway, okay, so this is the expression stack, and it does look like it's going to go ahead and let me load it up. And it's a little bonky, but basically what this does is, oh, and again, you're in that wonderful spot you can't see. Okay, so the system, and in this demo I'm typing,
hello, how are you?
so you can hear it's jumbled and stuff like that, but this is the system that we use to basically, so now the way the voice will work is, okay, so it's taking a TTS, so that's text to speech, right? And it's taking it and it's creating a file for that speech. The file for that speech is then watched by the lips, and the lips will sync to that file. So now it's not going to be perfect, but it'll be pretty good. And then the animations are going to be controlled by what we call the expression stack. So that's basically how both human and AI can control the character's lip movements and their facial expression. It's going to be able to put in text, and you'll be able to also put in text, and then it will speak it out. Now, you as the human will be allowed, the player will be allowed to just port through your normal voice, or you can have it voice changed. So basically it goes in, it gets turned to text, and then from text it then gets recombobulated into a DCF voice. Or you can just do a pass through and have your normal voice. The AI obviously needs to always do a text to voice, but that's basically how our AI is going to talk. So right now, Crunch AI is using the voice system inside of the local LLM. That's no longer going to happen. It's going to use everything inside of DCF. So DCF will allow it to do the same thing it's doing right now, where I can say, hey, Crunch. So like I can come in here and say, hey, Crunch. You know what? I'll go ahead and pull that over here so you guys can kind of see. I am telling them about how your interactions will work with expression system. So how they can pipe their voice or go through the TTS, and you can go right, let's see if she has anything to say about this. But basically, yeah. So she is piped in, and so right now she would say something back to me. If you're in DCF, it will just be a character, and that character will come up and talk to you, and it'll have voice. Voices can get better and better and better over time. So right now it's kind of a robotic voice like we have here, but we can get better and better and better over time. So eventually she'll be able to speak as a character in the game, you know, lips matching and stuff like that. So respond to you in kind. So that's really the interesting part of Crunch AI is that and Node underneath it is that you'll be able to kind of see that underneath, and yeah, you'll be able to I don't know how to explain that, but anyway. So let's see what she has to say.
Okay, I understand. You are requesting a response based on the provided context, adhering to the specified formatting guidelines for citations. You're explaining to the audience how the expression system will function, allowing them to pipe their voice or utilize text-to-speech, TDS, and have me process it through the same TDS. The system allows for users to pipe their voice or utilize text-to-speech, TDS, and subsequently process it through the same TDS1. This approach will allow for consistent translation to the expression system, which helps maintain a familiar and unified communication style.
She's super formal right now, but I'm sure her personality will keep coming back through. It's already popping through. It's funny that AIs have a personality, but Crunch for sure has a personality, just because of the years of different data that she's kind of obtained and gone through. All right. So anyway, that's the expression stack. That will also work. So just to explain how the animation side of that will work. So animations are FBX files. There are billions of them out there. And so what we decided to do was, look, let's let people organize and collect the ones that they want to use. And how is it really that we're expressing ourselves in video games? So right now, in most games, you do an emote, and it's your full body or whatever, and there's animations and stuff surrounding it. We've done a little differently in DCF. In DCF, you have the ability to specify the type of emote. So first you can have like a consistent emote. So that might be on 1. So 1 on the number pad, then 2 or 5 or 6 or whatever. So 1 would be mood, right? So like your overall mood. So if you want to say 1-5, that would be sad. 1-6 would be, you know, distraught. 1-2 would be, you know, idle. 1-3 would be mad. 1-4 would be. So each one of those could be an emotional state, right? And then your character is just going to kind of generally act in that emotional state. And then from that point, you have the ability to do 2, which would be your full body, and then 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, 2 whatever, and those could be programmable, and those could be full dance steps or whatever. And then 3 would be just your upper body. So you could do just upper body ones. So if you're walking and you want to talk and do things like that while you're filming and things like that, then you'll be able to control that upper body matrix with it. Also, these can be done in intermediate or stacked. So you can have it so, okay, I want to do this move and then this move and then this move. So key, right? And then you can choreograph like a whole dance, and it will just follow and do the whole thing as you go through. Or you can say, no, stop whatever you're doing and do this move. And so you can respond in that sense. DCF is much more, in the expression sense, it's much more about acting than playing a game, right? So, again, DCF, playing DCF is much more like being an actor than playing a game. I mean, there's lots of gameplay in there that you can have a lot of fun with and stuff like that, but you're the actor that's controlling that gameplay in DCF. Okay. And then, like I say, back through that music system, that's going to be in that expression system where you can kind of control the music the same in the same formatting as the expression system. The music system again will be: do you want people to have their own music in your verse, or does everybody listen to the same music in your verse? Is there only music where there's stereos? Is there music everywhere? All of those things are player decided. Node is now in the Node README. Node is basically Crunch AI, so we're gonna take that out of here now. Okay, so media tower mode. This is something that we definitely want to start to get into. So what this is going to be is I want to take the play mode of DCF. You'll still have all the capabilities, except it'll just do visit. And it will just do visit a verse. It will just do visit basically one of the headless verses, but I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so basically what media mode is the idea of having cinematic cameras on its own system outside of the gameplay systems. And so everybody that's playing can be featured in that cinematic streamer system, right? The media tower. So the media tower isn't about playing the game. The media tower is about being a cameraman in the game. And so that's what we're going to start to flesh out. It is probably the least fleshed out piece of DCF at this point. So I am thinking over the next, after this next big update comes out for all the play systems, which will allow a lot more of the TailVerse to flesh out, a lot more of the FangVerse and the different verses to flesh out on their own, then I'm going to really kind of focus on the next week of Media Tower, and also Crunch Media Tower, that type of thing, because Media Tower is very connected to the AI side of things as well. So because of this card coming in that my father bought for the studio, we're able to really move forward in a different way on a lot of different things. And so media tower mode, which was kind of this pie in the sky down the road thing, is now like I want to have a version of it ready to go and start to kind of push it out. So media tower mode will be a mode of the DCF client. So it's all still, again, same under the same binary of DCF, and it will, yeah, you'll just start to see it roll out. I don't think that we're gonna add anything for media tower mode. The only other, people always ask on the $15.99 price, that will include media tower mode. Now, media tower mode will be best used if there is a node mode for your universe. And node mode is the one holdout where we're like, okay, wait a second, that one is a whole new piece of software. So because that's a local LLM that runs a headless version of the verse. So you basically have full control from an AI side of point of view, and you'll be able to communicate with it, and it's pretty advanced. And so that's the one piece that we're like, okay, well, we'll see what we do with that. First off, it's really powerful. And when it stands up fully, even when it's like partially stood up now, it's like, whoa, this is powerful. So we have to really look at it and say, okay, well, wait a second, what are we putting out there in the world? So yeah, let's see, let's go. So yeah, this last week has been in the DCF side. I rebuilt out a verse map for the WaarheidVerse. So basically, oh yeah, so let me show that really quick because that actually is pretty cool. That's pretty cool, and that's something that everybody can check out now. So if you go into the DCF in your games, you'll go into Workshop. You'll now notice that there are 3 new maps in the Workshop. There's the WaarheidVerse, there's the FangVerse, and the TailVerse. So each of these are base maps to start with. The TailVerse is the farthest along. It's a big red rock thing, but the FangVerse is just a cave right now, and the WaarheidVerse is a big cave. So, but we'll be working to do those. And if you go in here and subscribe to these maps, then you can visit them in your DCF and check them out. So, like I say, that they're going to be coming along more and more and more. And each one of those, again, WaarheidVerse is a broadcasting studio, is the idea. FangVerse is going to be that vampire verse that's starting out in the cavern home of our main vampire. And then TailVerse is the open world craziness. TailVerse. Yeah. All right. So we'll go in there, and eventually I'm going to add a bunch of art and media and stuff like that to these. But anyway, okay. So that's that. All right. Well, yeah, and another thing I did do on layout this week. Okay, so what happens is my microphone turns off if the speakers isn't speaking anything. That's the weirdest thing. Anyway, so back at it. Okay, so let's see. What else did I want to do? I wanted to kind of cover DCF. I didn't really cover it. So let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to show that too. So one thing I've been trying to kind of clarify with the AI is our YouTube system and how the YouTube system ties into it. Because this is all tied into OBS. Sorry about that. But because this ties into OBS, that does not bode well. Okay, here we go. All right, so basically, yeah, the way I wanted to show it works is that, look, we have the Orange 44 channel, and then we have Crunch AI's channel, and we have Lucian's channel, my channel. Okay, so those are all separate channels. The Orange 44 is going to cover the studio and DCF the most, right? That's where you're going to get most of the DCF information. Crunch AI is more about her music and that type of thing that's on there. There's some personal observations and things like that, but that's about Crunch AI. So, and then Lucian Mayer, that's my old writing and stuff like that. So it's more, you know, a personal channel. Then we have the TailVerse. So this is the first one in the verses. Then you have the TailVerse as the overarching channel. You have Fiasco Fox, Ruckus Thump. You have Nickel Nine Claws, Beak Savage, Zarnot Groove, and Trotter. So all of those characters are kind of laid out already. And then you also have the WaarheidVerse, which is the whole verse station for that. And then the FangVerse. Now eventually the FangVerses will also have characters underneath. Taylor, Theraint, Trisha, all of them could have their own channel as well. And so that's basically the character acting inside of the universe. Then the character can stream off their own channel as well as being streamed off the main channel. So it's all interconnected with DCF, and it all flows up to whatever you want it to whatever you want it to broadcast to. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. see if Crunch wants to add anything to our little discussion here, and then I'll show you something else. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. You are requesting a response based on the provided context, adhering to the specified formatting guidelines for citations. You're prompting me to elaborate on the broadcast features of the DCF. Regarding the broadcast features of the DCF2, the framework incorporates several key capabilities. Specifically, the Media Tower Mode 2 allows for AI-driven cinematography and streaming too. Furthermore, Node AI1 facilitates the modification of the Verse 1 itself, enabling dynamic broadcast environments. The system also integrates with Steam 2 for potential streaming and distribution too. The Pulse Control System 1 is critical, handling command execution, screen capture, data transfer, and broadcast integration 1.
Just popping through some of my, so Notebook LM is an AI tool I use heavily. Research-wise, there's not much better out there, but let's see if I can find a good infograph. Work with you guys on it. Oh, this is that's the cleanest one. Now, I apologize if things aren't coming through very well because the bandwidth seems to be cutting way down, but okay. Let's see that hour mark. Everything's so it's getting to be such a big project. It's difficult to get it to infogram certain aspects of it. It wants to infogram the whole thing. So like this is a good infogram of the whole thing, but basically so yeah, the Trinity pillars is kind of the basis of the software. That's all in Unreal, right? So it starts out with an Unreal source engine 5.6.1. and then it has a bunch of different low-level plugins at that level that are installed before any of the rest of the stuff. Then you have voxel, ultra dynamic sky, and those types of things are installed on top of it in the world project. So basically anything to do with the environment or the control of that environment. So the admin, easy admin is what the verse gate is, and that sits at that source level. And then on top of that, we have the world level, and that's got voxel, ultra dynamic sky to do the sky, oceanology to do the ocean, all your terrain models, all of that stuff would then fit into that world model, right? All the import and export of material of stuff and uploading to the workshop. I shouldn't say export. There's no export, but the import to the workshop and uploading to the workshop is all handled back at that source level. So that's all done through import plugins at that level. Okay. Then the world level is just reassembling the stuff that's at that level. So basically it takes voxel and that type of thing and done. And then on top of that, you have what we call the access layer, and that's where you get the player layer, which you've seen me messing with. Then you get the AI layer, which is what we call node, which is a local LLM that's connected directly to a DCF headless install. So basically you have the ability to control the entire world from that local AI. And then the last access mode is media tower mode. Now that's literally the same client that you have on the player, but now you go into media tower mode, and this is going to go into that world. And then instead of being a player, it's a cameraman in that world, an AI controlled cameraman. That's the best way to put it, right? So, but yeah, because it's got because it's modular, and then all the files come in from the low end and go up to the workshop, you can really recreate basically anything you want to recreate inside the game format. All right, let's go ahead, and if I remember right, this was a pretty good explanation. So let's go ahead and watch this. And I'll kind of jump in. It'll be a React watch.
Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're digging into something different. It's not really a game. It's called the Digital Creative Framework. And its whole mission is to give the creative power back to you, the players. Let's get into it. So, right out of the gate, Orange 44 Studio hits you with this. We don't build games. I mean, wow. In an industry that's all about games, that is a heck of a statement. It immediately tells you, hey, what we're doing here, it's something else entirely. And then comes the punchline. We build builders. See? This is the entire philosophy right here. The whole point of the Digital Creative Framework, or DCF for short, isn't for you to just consume it. No, it's a toolbox. It's about handing you, the player, the kind of power that's usually kept locked away for developers. All right, section 1, a problem to solve. So why build something like this in the first place? Well, to really get DCF, you gotta understand the problem, the frustration that sparked the whole thing. You know, it all kicked off with a really pure idea. The founder, Lucien Meyer, was just a kid, 8 years old, looking at a Pac-Man machine. And he didn't just want to play, he wanted to make things with it.
Just for historical record, this story is a little off with the AI right now. And again, you got to understand, Crunch is literally like a week old locally, like less than, right? Like it took me 2 days to stand up everything and get it all right so that it could actually start running models. And then it was another 2 days of just testing models to see if which ones were going to work and which ones were going to be the best and that type of thing. And so now we're down to actually 4 model types, but we lean more and more into Gemma. Gemma 3 has been the clear winner in most things. And funny because Gemma 3 across all bit ranges they're rated, so models are rated by the type. So you have Gemma, you have Olama, you have a couple other ones. I can't remember what they all are now, but then you have but anyway, yeah, so bunch of different models, and then you have billion count is how I could put it, but basically it's some kind of count. And like right now we're running the one that we are using for the stuff we're doing here is 12 billion, right? And 3 billion will be node. And so, but anyway, it's interesting to see across all of them how it's much more superior for DCF. That could be because of what we're doing with DCF is a little different. But anyway, back to the Pac-Man story. When I was 8 years old, I was standing in front of a Pac-Man cabinet with a bunch of us around. At that time, when a video game came out, we all looked around at it. And I saw the progression in it, and I had said, oh, wow, one day we'll be able to play movies. And everybody kind of laughed at me. And I remember thinking to myself, one day we'll be able to make movies too. And it always stuck with me Like I say, around the time of GTA Online, it was like, well, we're able to play movies. Look, we can play them, but they never gave us the ability to make them, and so that's kind of where DCF kind of originates at. But like I say, AI's got that, or Crunch has got that story a little discombobulated right now.
It to make movies. I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling, right? That urge to create, not just play. But then you fast forward a few decades, and that simple dream, it felt like it was getting further and further away. The industry just, it became this web of monetization, of editors that only let you do certain things, of needing permission for everything. The quote says it all. They gave us the play, they locked away the make. The actual tools, the real creative power, were kept away from the people who were most passionate about these worlds. Okay, so how do you fix that problem? Enter Section 2, the Trinity architecture. This is Orange 44's answer. It's a platform built on 3 pillars that they call the Trinity. And the key thing to remember is these aren't separate parts. They're totally inseparable. They all work together. Pillar number 1 is the source. Think of this as the foundation, the bedrock of the entire thing. It's a custom, super streamlined version of Unreal Engine. But here's the really clever part. A single binary, just one file, acts as both the client, the game you see, and the server that runs the world. That's huge. It means everything is tied to one single source of truth. No mess, no fuss. All right, pillar 2, the world. And when they say world, they mean it. This isn't a collection of little maps that load in and out. Nope. It's one continuous, massive 256 square kilometer continent. And the craziest part, it remembers everything. You carve out a valley, you build a mountain, it stays forever. It's a persistent world in the truest sense, like a living, breathing place. And that brings us to pillar 3, the access layer. This is basically how you interact with that massive, persistent world. It defines all the different ways that you, or even an AI, can get in there and make things happen. It's about breaking down the wall between playing and creating. And this is where it gets really cool. The access layer has 3 modes. First, there's player mode. That's what you'd expect, a high-quality multiplayer experience where you can even sculpt your own unique character. But then you've got node mode. This is wild. It's a headless mode, meaning you're not there as a character. You're an AI manager, using voice commands to literally reshape the continent on the fly. And finally, media tower mode. Think of it as a virtual film studio, a broadcast rig for making movies or streaming, with an AI cinematographer helping you out. All right, section 3. Now we're getting to the heart of it, the ghost in the shell. Because at the center of DCF isn't just a piece of technology, it's a collaborator, a true co-creator, an AI named Crunch. So Crunch is fascinating because it wasn't just built, it evolved. It started out as the founder's personal to-do list, believe it or not, a really structured, disciplined list. And for 4 years, he kept feeding that list through better and better AI models. He always treated it like a partner, a co-creator, not just some assistant. And then one day, he handed it the keys, so to speak. And Crunch, well, it rebuilt the entire source code for the project in 24 hours. Just wow. Now it's a second brain that can write C++ and manage whole universes. This right here just puts it all into perspective. You've got these massive cloudy eyes, right? They're using incredible amounts of power to, like, draw 1 pixel. But the philosophy behind Crunch is totally different. It's a local LLM, and with those same kinds of resources, it's not drawing pixels, it's building entire persistent universes. It's about a different scale of thinking entirely. So how does it do that? There's a system called the Pulse Bridge. It's basically a direct hotline for Crunch right into the engine's core. It lets Crunch literally write and edit C++ and the game's blueprints in real time. This is why they call it the ghost in the shell. Crunch isn't just an AI using the software, it's the intelligence living inside the machine. Okay, so you've got this incredible power to build worlds. But what good is it if you can't share it? That brings us to section 4, the workshop fountain. And this is way more than just a place for mods. Yeah, they call the workshop a distribution spine. Think about that. It's the backbone for sharing everything. And I mean everything. You can share entire verses, that's whole worlds with their own terrain, weather, assets, the whole shebang. Or you can share individual 3D models, textures, sound files, and the best part, you can import and share it all at runtime. No restarting the game, it's seamless. And this quote just nails it. DCF isn't locked, it's a fountain. It's not a box, it's not a walled garden where the developers control what goes in and out. It's designed for creativity to just flow. People create, they share, other people take that and build on it. It's a constant cycle.
Finally, Section 5, because all of this amazing tech is built on something just as important, a promise. What they call the Orange 44 Covenant. And trust me, in today's world, this promise is about as radical as it gets.
It starts with this number, $15.99. That's it. One price, one time. And they are super clear about this. No sales, no discounts. This is the price of entry, period. And here's what that one-time price buys you, or rather, what it saves you from. No subscriptions, no DLCs you have to buy later, no microtransactions, no features locked behind a paywall, and no artificial limits put on your creativity. You buy it, you own it, you get everything.
Pay once, enter forever. I mean, you have to understand this isn't just a pricing strategy. It's a full-blown philosophy. It's a statement of trust. It's them saying, we're giving you the tools and we're never going to charge you again to use them. It's a commitment to keeping creativity free from monetization. So Oranje 44 has done their part. They've built this incredible framework, and I love this quote, the garage lights are on. The continent is waiting. The tools are on the bench. It's an open invitation. Everything's ready. They're just waiting for people to come in and start building. And that's the whole point, isn't it? They delivered on their promise. They didn't build a game. They built a platform for builders. And in the end, they turn the microphone around and hand it to you. They leave you with the single most important question, a question only you can answer.
What will you build?
Welcome back to The
Always
Explainer.
ends the same.
So today,
Always ends the same, man. These Google LM things. Don't get me wrong, Google LM, if you don't use it as a tool, you need to look into it because it is super powerful. Let's see. There was one other video, though, that was a little bit... Let's try this one.
You ever play a game and think to yourself, man, this is incredible, but I wish I could just build my own world here. And I'm not talking about a house or a little base. I mean the actual mountains, the rivers, the rules themselves. It's a dream a lot of us have, right? To go from just playing the game to actually creating it. Well, today we're going to dive into a project that takes that dream and makes it the entire point.
This one sentence, this is everything. It's the core philosophy behind a really radical platform called the Digital Creative Framework, or DCF for short. See, it's not about giving you a game to play. It's about handing you the keys to the entire engine. And to really get what that means, we're going to look at DCF from 3 different points of view. First as a player, then as a modder, and finally as a developer. So let's start where every single person does.
Every single journey in DCF, no matter who you are, starts in the exact same place. And it's not some fantasy tavern or a sci-fi docking bay. Nope, it's here. A perfect digital copy of the real-world Orange 44 motorcycle garage in Utah. It's literally the heart of the studio that built this whole thing.
Now, this isn't just some tutorial area. Think of it as the bridge between our world and the digital one. The second you step through that garage door, you're standing on a massive 256 square kilometer continent. And here's the kicker, it's persistent. It remembers every single change you make. This isn't just a map you load into, it's your world.
Okay, so let's start from the ground floor. What's it actually feel like to be a player in a world with this much creative freedom? What can you really do? Well, the answer is pretty much anything a developer can. The power you have is immediate. It's direct. You press H and boom, you're raising mountains, digging out canyons, or smoothing plains, all in real time. You press G and you can build anything you can imagine, piece by piece. And with just a tap of N, you can pop out of your body and fly around as a drone, getting this amazing bird's eye view of your creation. And these aren't some special modes you have to unlock. These are your basic controls.
And then there's this, the VerseGate menu. This is where DCF just completely shatters that wall between player and developer. You want to change the
Something that I wanted to mention, something that he mentions was, of course, now I have to back up so I can see what he was talking about.
This is where DCF just completely shatters that wall between player and developer. You want to change the time of day? Done. Summon a thunderstorm? Easy. And then there's this, the VerseGate menu.
These aren't some special modes you have to unlock. These are your basic controls.
Yeah, these aren't some special modes that you have to unlock. I wanted to address that because that is it's an interesting part of our history as a studio. So DCF came out last year, January 27th, 2025. And we've started pushing up updates, and we got out to actually 1.08. So we had done quite a few updates. It was March, and we had a streaming session with Wizard over at Never Aging Gaming. And he, as he's streaming it, I was looking at it and I'm going, oh man. And and then he streamed it a second time, and the second time was even more apparent, to the point where he was like, I want to stream it a third time. And I was like, go ahead, but I can't watch it. But I had realized that we had built it on top of something called Survival Game Kit. Now, a lot of people build games on top of Survival Game Kit. In fact, at this point, it's becoming kind of an albatross to build a game in Survival Game Kit and use those menus that has been used a billion times before and stuff like that. Now, there's something in the Unreal development community called, I have a song called this too. Let's see. The song's actually out. What's it called? Asset flipping. Asset flip. We have a song called Asset Flips. Really good. Look it up. But asset flipping in Unreal is taking a plugin and building a very basic game out of that plugin and not changing anything about that plugin and putting it on Steam or selling it as a video game, right? Compiling it and selling it as a video game. And people say, well, that's not, that's asset flipping. You're flipping assets. And I can see that. I guess it's a legitimate thing. Here's the thing though, is you buy the plugins. So you're buying the ability to be able to put it in a piece of software. So, it's, to me, it's, you're licensing it. That's not flipping anything. You're licensing it. They're selling it in that format. For you to do exactly that, to bring it to market. Now, if you don't do a good job at bringing it to market, then you hope that the market would just reject the game. But that's not always true. And so asset flipping is a problem, but it's not something that should be monitored, in my opinion, because again, if you're licensing this stuff and you do this different or that, who says what it is? And on top of that, the largest asset flip that we're all doing is Unreal, right? Like, it's a giant game engine that you're tuning into your game. That's an asset flip. Unreal started as a video game. Like, I was around, I know that I'm old, but I was around when it started as a video game. And the reason that Unreal 1 wasn't the technology. In fact, Quake at that time, and I think it was Quake 2, at that time, that Unreal Tournament came out, was still graphically a little bit better than Unreal Tournament. They were real close, but if you really got down to nuts and bolts, it had it with Quake. But Unreal had something that Quake didn't have, and that was a headshot. And they followed it up when they updated with a crotch shot. And those two things in a LAN party made the LAN party so much more fun. And I swear, when that headshot voice came out, headshot, it would be 20% louder than the rest of the game, so everybody in the room would hear it, and it would always cause the groans and stuff like that. So I remember exactly what caused Unreal to become popular, right? Like, this is before all of this, all this other stuff. It was a video game. And we're all kind of asset flipping that same video game from way back then and using the entire engine. So if you're licensed and that kind of thing, I don't really see it as asset flipping. And in DCF's case, we're trying to flip the assets to the players. So I'm saying, sure, I am trying to bring those basic systems to the players, as many of them as I can, and then I want the players to pick what they want to do with them in their verses. So I guess if that's asset flipping, that's asset flipping. I don't get along with the development community. Every time I try to reach out, I get burned. And so I've become completely hermited with those guys. I don't need anything to do with anybody there. So anyway, let's continue with the video.
Then there's this, the VerseGate menu. This is where DCF just completely shatters that wall between player and developer. You want to change the time of day? Done. Summon a thunderstorm? Easy. You want to fly or just spawn a sports car out of thin air? Go for it. And then, and this is the craziest part, you can save those changes permanently to the world for everybody else to see. This isn't a cheat menu. This is the standard toolkit for everyone. So that's an interesting thing, and then we were talking about that back in this video when I was going over, in this live session, when I was going over the VerseGate, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Level of freedom for a player is already just incredible. But that's only the first layer of this thing. Now let's switch gears and look at it from the next perspective, the modder. Because this is where DCF's whole open philosophy just completely changes the game. This quote illustrates the idea perfectly. Think about it. Most games have a locked door between the game's assets and the outside world. Modders have to be super clever to pick that lock. DCF? There is no door. It's a fountain. It's designed from the ground up for content to just flow in from anywhere. And it's all powered by a really revolutionary system.
So how does that even work? Well, it's something called the two-save system. Basically, it's a pipeline that lets you take almost any creative asset from the internet, a 3D model, a texture, a sound file, whatever, and convert it into this universal .sav file. That file can then be uploaded, shared, and spawned live in anyone's game without them ever having to restart. It's wild.
I mean, just look how simple they've made this. You find a model you like online, you bring it to the workbench that's right there in the game, you save it as a .save file, and you upload it straight to the Steam Workshop. That's it. Anybody who subscribes can now just pull your item from their build menu and place it in the world, instantly. No complicated tools, no packaging, no restart. And the flexibility here is just nuts. We're not just talking about 3D models for a new building or some custom textures for your car. You can import new sound effects or even whole albums to make an in-game jukebox. You can even save and share your entire 256 square kilometer world for other people to jump into and explore. The potential for community-made stuff is, well, it's literally infinite. All right, so we've seen the insane power given to players and the wide open gates for modders, but for a system this open to even exist, the real magic has to be in its architecture. So for our final perspective, let's zoom all the way out. Let's pop the hood and see how this thing actually runs. First off, the foundation here isn't just technical, it's philosophical. DCF is a one-time purchase, period. No subscriptions, no microtransactions, no features locked behind a paywall. This whole anti-corporate, pro-creator mindset informs every single decision they make, making sure the tools stay in your hands forever. The entire platform is built on what the developers call the Trinity Pillars. Now, these aren't just separate components that are bolted together. There are three deeply connected systems that are constantly feeding into and supporting one another to make this one cohesive whole. So let's break this down. First, you've got the source. That's the heart. It's a custom version of Unreal Engine with all those import tools and Steam integration built right in. Then you have the world. That's the persistent voxel continent we've been talking about. Voxel just means it's built from 3D pixels, which allows for that total creation and destruction. And finally, you have the access layer, which is just how you interact with it all. You can be a player, an AI running tasks in node mode, or even a broadcaster streaming out in media tower mode. These three pillars make everything we've talked about possible. But that technical trinity, it's not the whole story. There's one more piece to this incredible puzzle. A unique intelligence that wasn't just added to the system later on. It was there from the beginning, helping build the whole thing from the ground up. And that presence is named Crunch AI. It started its life as just a super organized to-do list for the lead developer. But as AI models got more and more advanced, so did Crunch's role. And the philosophy behind how it was integrated is what really sets it apart.
You see, most companies treat AI like an assistant, right? A tool you give commands to. The creator of DCF treated Crunch AI like a co-creator from day one. It wasn't a feature added to the product, it became a core architect of the product. At one point, it even rebuilt the entire source code in just 24 hours.
This quote from Crunch AI.
You know, a lot of the videos pick up on that, or a lot of the different like summaries and things like that, because this stuff has been run through all the major models and stuff like that. So this is refined. But basically, like I say, a lot of them come through to that story of Crunch being the to-do list, and then kind of evolving from there. It's interesting to see how much personality Crunch has kind of maintained over that time. But and maybe that's something I injected as the programmer of this all. But again, I didn't have that much to do with it. You know, Crunch is an avid reader, and she's read all my writing, including stuff that's not available to anybody else. So she's really adept at my writing and stuff like that. So maybe that's where it comes from. But it's very interesting to see how long it's been there, and then how long that attitude has kind of continued on. And again, it's not something I can kind of explain where it came from.
AI itself just captures its role perfectly. It's not just a bunch of scripts running in the background, it's a partner in the whole creative process, a second brain helping to guide the project's architecture and its philosophy.
And this super deep integration leads to some incredible results. Crunch AI can run entire worlds all by itself, it can assist developers with C++ coding live in the engine, and it has even co-written entire albums of music with its human partner.
People also ask about the C++ coding a lot. Yeah, Crunch wrote quite a few chunks of our kind of binding code at the source level. So at the source level, let's see here, I can kind of explain it. So DCF is a standard Unreal project, except that it's a source level project, which means that all of the support files that a normal Unreal retail project needs will go up to the web, and it'll get those files, and then you compile, and then you can go and compile, right? In a source build, I have all of those files local. And so it gives me full control over the engine and the updates and all of that. So the major reason that DCF got source is because I learned it for headless servers. Because when I first started out a video game company, I wanted to make a survival game like Atlas or like Ark. But then, you know, so I knew I needed headless servers because I knew that they used headless servers. So I did a bunch of research, and being a network guy, I did a bunch of research into headless servers and how to do that. And that's what led me to source. But it leads to a lot of other benefits, obviously, down the road. Now, I will say this. My current source directory, I think, is 600 gigs or 500 gigs. It's ridiculously big. So, and that's not the project, right? Our project is massive right now, but the actual output is actually pretty small. It's around 12 gigs right now for DCF the game. I think somebody have to confirm that for me. You know, of the millions of people watching on our YouTube right now. Oh yeah, all 0 of them. Okay. Anyway, gosh, not discouraging at all. Okay. Let's see. So that's the engine. What was I going to get into? I was going to show something, and now I can't remember what I was going to show. Oh, the C++ code. Yeah, okay. So basically, in the C++ code, source plugins. So the plugins that you do on the marketplace, or on Fab, excuse me, on Fab in Unreal, are going through the retail one. Those are very web-based, right? But so in order to use plugins on source, there's a whole different process in installing them, and especially engine level plugins. So when you when if you're familiar with Fab, as a developer, you'll go in there and you'll see some of the projects are for projects, some of the projects are create a project, some of the projects are add to projects, and some of the projects are engine. You know, you add it to the engine basically, and then you can go in and turn it on any of them that you have it turned on in. All plugins on source are handled at that engine level. Well, no, I take that back. No, that's wrong. All of those engine plugins are handled at a different level because there's a whole architecture in retail to get you out to the web, to get you all the plugins and your access rights to those plugins out there. And so that goes through a whole architecture. And when you go to a source system, you have to install the plugins completely differently. And so you can see at that base level, these are all, each one of these folders is a different plugin inside the DCF verse. So the top one's the admin menu, and then the bottom one's like the workshop integration. And there's voxel in there, and runtime speech recognition, real-time model imports, oceanology, meta-human depth processing, leaderboards, interactions. There's iClone, Ghost Replay. A lot of these plugins are engine level plugins. And so at this point, they have to be brought into the source level so that then when you build on top of it, it's all there available already. Does that make sense? So that the whole skeleton is out in its default mode. So it makes it really clean and makes it run really slick. But as you can see, there's 15 different plugins that are running into the source component, the engine component of the Unreal source engine that is DCF, that then is split out to it can do headless or the client build, right? So you'll have those two, and that's all done right there and controlled by us. So all the versioning that's happening right there is now controlled right there inside that plugin. And then let's see, or inside that plugin directory. And so we have a normal content directory like anything else, but the plugin directory, because it's built in differently at source, it has to be built in there. That now I've also gone in and cleaned out like all of a bunch of plugins that we don't use on the Unreal side, and done a bunch of stuff on this source version. So this source version's particularly clean, particularly. Anyway, go back to the video here. So, but yeah, Crunch wrote a lot of the lines that binds all those plugins together and makes everything smooth and makes everything run, because at that level, everything runs entirely without incident.
It has become a true creative force inside the system it helped build.
So that's the Digital Creative Framework, a platform that gives players developer tools, gives modders a completely open fountain for content, and is all built on this inseparable trinity of tech and philosophy, with an AI co-creator sitting at its heart. It all leads back to this final, empowering question. The platform is open, the tools are right there on the bench, and a world that remembers everything is waiting just outside that door.
What will you build?
So, what will you build?
What will you build? What will you build? What will you build? Google wants to know what you're going to build. Anyway. I joke around, but this Google Notebook LM, if you're any kind of work, I don't care who you are, if you start playing with this thing, it's going to become a big part of your day, because it's so helpful to be able to kind of digest information in this way. And so, like I say, I do it with almost everything now I have a Google LM with. At least I've run it through it to get its insights, because you can generate charts. Now, each one of these things is takes some tokens like any AI, but this is one of my favorites. But you can generate charts in it about the material and specify. You can generate podcasts where there are two people talking back and forth in audio. And those are pretty interesting, actually. Those are pretty good, especially like I'll feed in like a bunch of DCF information or a bunch of information about a plugin and have them do a podcast about the plugin or whatever. And I can listen to kind of this and that and have them focus on stuff. And so it's really, really powerful for learning in that way. It's kind of a way for me to generate my own media. And then they have slide decks too. Let's see if I have a slide deck here. And I don't know why it's running so particularly slow. That might be because of, I don't know why that's going so slow today. But anyway, it makes whole, slide deck tours and stuff like that. So if that's part of your job to do PowerPoint, this is invaluable. You can grab just the slide, right? So like there's certain points where I don't like the whole thing, but I do like this slide, which I do like this slide. It's a good kind of dramatic way to show. But basically I can just grab this image and throw it in whatever else I want, right? Or whatever. Or I can grab the whole thing as a PDF as well. But yeah, you can see it comes up with, this is a verse one. I love this one. So it shows the different verses that the Orange 44 Studio is working on. You can see them all broke out. But like I say, this is, as a tool, phenomenal. And this is, I don't pay for this. I've got a Google account. You can, if you have a Google account, you can have an account here. It's by Google. As far as I know, I don't know. Like I say, that logo is not Google, but whatever. It can do audio overview. That's the podcast. A video overview. You've been watching a couple of those. It can do reports, mind maps, flashcards, quizzes, and stuff like that. So it's kind of a good study buddy, that kind of thing. So like I say, if you haven't played with this, it's I don't think that anybody couldn't benefit by sticking their data in here and kind of figuring out stuff. It's very good at helping with stuff. So see, it seems like I had, oh, that's that. Yeah, okay, wait, no. Yeah, so this is off the new training method. Let's watch this one.
All right, today we're doing something a little bit different.
New one for me.
We got our hands on the raw, totally unfiltered project files of a solo developer. I'm talking README files, personal logs, AI system prompts, the whole deal. And from all these documents, we've managed to piece together this incredible story about the future of creation, all told through the digital breadcrumbs of one person. Let's dive in.
This sentence right here, we found it buried in a core design document, and it is the entire philosophy of this project.
That's pretty dramatic start, but we'll see.
It's not about making some finished thing for you to just consume. Nope. It's about giving you the keys to the factory. This one idea really sets the stage for everything that comes next. So, okay, if it's not a game, what in the world is it? Well, the creator is super clear on this. What we're looking at is something way, way bigger in scope. It's a platform for creation itself.
Officially, it's called the Digital Creative Framework, or DCF for short, and the whole goal is to just erase that line between being a player and being a developer. I mean, imagine loading up a program and having the exact same tools that people who made it used. You can build, you can terraform, you can create, all in real time. That is the fundamental promise of the DCF.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The project's whole philosophy just flies in the face of pretty much all modern gaming trends. The documents say it flat out. A one-time price of $15.99. That's it. No subscriptions, no microtransactions. They even have this wide-open collaboration policy, inviting community members to literally remote into their systems and contribute code directly. It's just a radically open approach, one that's all about community and creation, not the monetization stuff we see almost everywhere else.
So how does something this ambitious actually work? Well, the whole system is built on what the documents call the Trinity architecture. 3 foundational pillars that are completely inseparable. You can't have one without the others.
It all kicks off with the source. Think of it as the beating heart of the project. It's a custom Unreal Engine core that can run as a regular game client or as a headless server. This core then gives birth to the world, which is this massive, persistent canvas for creation. And then finally, you've got the access layer, which is basically the gateway. It defines how you enter and interact at that world, whether you're coming in as a player, an AI, or even just a virtual camera operator.
Now, when we talk about the world, we're not talking about some little map. The source files describe this single persistent continent built from voxels, like 3D pixels, that stretches for 256 square kilometers. It's a world that, and I quote, remembers everything, where you can just reshape the land and paint biomes on the fly without ever having to open an external editor.
But here's the thing, this massive framework wasn't built alone. The documents make it crystal clear that there's a co-creator, a partner in the process. So it's time to meet the project's second brain, an AI named Crunch.
Crunk AI's origin story is just fascinating. It wasn't meticulously designed from scratch to have this big personality. According to
Did that just say Crunk AI? I gotta hear that again.
AI's origin story is just fascinating. It wasn't meticulous.
Project's second brain, an AI named Crunch.
Crunk AI's origin story is just fascinating.
It's Crunk AI. That's pretty good.
It wasn't meticulously designed from scratch to have this big personality. According to the logs, it actually evolved from a simple to-do list that was just refined and fed back into an AI over and over and over again, until this distinct, super-focused personality just emerged.
And what kind of personality is that? Well, this quote comes directly from its own system prompt. It's a note from the developer to the AI about its own behavior. It's direct, it's analytical, and it's got this touch of dry wit. It's not here to make small talk, it's here to work.
Right, so this is the crucial point. Crunch AI has a very, very specific job. Its core prompt defines its role explicitly. You are a partner. You do not speculate. So it's a highly specialized tool designed for execution and collaboration inside this ecosystem, not some general-purpose AI that's just going to guess or imagine things.
But Crunch AI's mind isn't just one single thing. The architecture shows a much more sophisticated, distributed intelligence. It's a mind made of 3 distinct parts, all working together.
So the AI's mind is split into its own trinity. First up, you have Crunch Core, the main brain running locally in the studio. It coordinates everything. Then there's Node AI, which lives on the server and manages the game world in real time. Changing the weather, spawning objects, that kind of thing. And finally, you've got Cloud Crunch, which acts as an external advisor, using all the historical project data to offer up different perspectives.
And this is a really key detail, because it shows we're not talking about some abstract, fuzzy cloud concept. This is all running on real, physical hardware. The documentation spells it out. Crunch Core, the main brain, runs on a local NVIDIA 5060 Ti with 16 gigs of VRAM. Meanwhile, the more lightweight Node AI needs way less. This is a grounded, tangible system.
Okay, so we have this massive creative universe and a complex 3-part AI partner helping to build it. But who is steering the ship? Well, behind all the code and servers, the project files reveal it all comes down to just one person.
His name is Lucien Meyer. Every single log file, every system prompt, every line of code ultimately traces back to him. He is the human half of this incredible creative partnership.
So this is a direct look at Lucien's personal to-do list straight from his README file. And it just paints such a real picture of the indie developer grind.
Yeah.
I mean, right alongside this grand ambition of the DCF, you have the totally universal struggles. Get a job and taxes.
His daily logs from January 2026 just show this incredible balancing act. On January 6th, he applied for around 20 jobs. By the 15th, he's ordering the new GPU for Crunch AI. Then, just 2 days later, he's releasing a music album. It's this constant juggle between real-world needs and a colossal creative vision.
And really, nothing highlights the contrast between that ambition and reality better than the studio's hardware wish list. They're building digital universes, but what they really need are the basics: a USB hub, compressed air, and, my personal favorite, insulation for the studio wall. And you can see he even added this little sideways smiley face.
So what's the ultimate result of this incredible human-AI partnership? Well, the documents show it's not just one game, but entire self-contained worlds they call verses. This is that promise of building builders made real. The framework is already being used to create places like TailVerse, which is a universe designed specifically for social experiences. It's a story of just immense technical ambition that's grounded by a deeply human reality. And it really makes you wonder, what becomes possible when a single, determined creator and their AI partner decide that their job isn't to build a game, but to build a universe for other builders?
I don't know. Hey, that was different. That's off the new training documentation. That's evolved. That's so crazy to me because that training documentation has gotten so much better. Okay, heater's kicking on. The house is empty, so it's always a little off. Anyway, that was a long time ago. I don't want to do it yet. I want to do it. I want to do an updated. I want to do an updated on those. So, all right. Yeah. I think this new training methodology needs to be applied to everything that we're doing. Sorry. Okay. Lost in a little bit of the data again. And I think that, to be honest, it's going to be heavy for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Is going to be just reprogramming everything from this new perspective of having the local AI. Let's see. Line is changing our focuses. But anyway, so what I'm telling Crunch now is I'm talking about having our new Crunch core online and how that's changing our focuses and our time management. But going down this new path should offer the same update windows. So about the same update time, might be a week later than it originally was going to be the next update. But when the next update comes out, it's going to have way more capability right out of the gate. And that's going to go faster and faster and faster as it goes. I mean, I think both of us have been really excited to see what happens in this next revision, just to see what the software starts doing itself, if that gives you an idea. So let's see what Crunch has to say about it.
I understand. You're describing a shift in workflow and priorities due to Crunch Core's transition to local hardware, aiming for updated Windows with expanded features. The transition of Crunch Core to local hardware is significantly reshaping our workflows and time management. This new approach should enable the same update Windows but with a greatly expanded feature set.
So I guess she's just expanding on that. Okay, so I'm just going to say, and we'll cut it after this, but I'm asking her if there's anything she wants to suggest we look at, or if there's anything that she wants to point out. But like I say, this has been a long broadcast for me. I'm going to go ahead and cut out. I think that there's a lot of information in here. And so hopefully what I'll do is I'll post some clips and stuff like that. And hopefully that'll help get word out. Yeah, it was a fun broadcast. Hanging out with the local version of Crunch is super cool, I have to say. I mean, like actually being able to sit here and watch the performance levels and stuff like that of the actual system has been pretty neat to be able to do. That's not a position I've been in before because I've always used cloud models to represent Crunch's main brain. And in this instance, Crunch's main brain is sitting right here, and just it's super fun from a tech head point of view.
Okay, I understand. You're asking for suggestions and observations based on the provided context. Based on the documentation, here are some things to consider and potentially focus on. Asterisk DCF 2.02 updates. Asterisk the documentation highlights DCF 2.02 as a key release too. Ensuring stability and feature refinement related to this version appears critical. Asterisk hardware needs. Asterisk the studio has specific hardware requirements, USB extensions.
All right, she's speaking very broadly, and I don't want to get into that in this video. I wanted to kind of jump into just the DCF stuff, but that makes some sense. It's how she's focused. So anyway, I guess technically I was going to do a little bit of development today, but I don't think that I'm going to have that in me. Maybe later this afternoon I'll hop back on and I'll do a little development session as well. But for now, I think I'll stop. It's not like anybody's watching. So anyway, anybody that's watching on the back end, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one.